Hello and welcome to Student Garden Thought Leader Series. I'm joined by Josh Farr. Josh, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I've just been hearing all about your amazing business, Campus Consultancy. I'd love for you to maybe start off by telling us a little bit about the business and maybe how you got started and how you got into this, because I think that's a really great story and great place to start.
Cool. Thanks for asking. Thanks for having me. Fundamentally, at Campus Consultancy, we believe that better student leaders make university better for everybody. So our point of leverage in the higher education space is the armies of volunteer students who are out there who are cluey enough to realize that you're at a great uni getting a great degree, and that's great, but it's not enough. It's the minimum. And that the way you stand out in the workforce is you have the skills that employers are blatantly asking for. A Google search or a ChatGPT search of what skills do employers want will tell you what they want.
Yeah.
Like, we're not hiding it.
Yeah.
And I was in rooms as a recruiter before I started the business for a couple of years. And there were rooms full of these recruiters from the biggest companies in Australia screaming out, why don't students know the STAR method for interview questions? Why aren't students developing their teamwork and leadership and communication skills? And when I started looking at the university space, I realized when I was a student, I had 10 different leadership roles. I never got a minute of training.
Yeah.
I never did a leadership class at uni. I never did a communications class. I graduated with a first class engineering degree. I was president of the Student Society. It was literally a slow motion video of me on the uni website running up a flight of stairs in a leather jacket. One of my mates screenshot it. Yeah, you could see it, right? I love that. He screenshot it, and at every birthday he reposted it on Facebook, you know. But I did everything right. And I went to the workforce and I wasn't happy. I didn't have the skills to actually thrive in the workforce. Academically, I was good, but I didn't have the people skills. And what I realized was there was this huge opportunity to teach the skills that employers are crying out for, but it had to be valuable for the unis. And in Australia, higher education is our third biggest export. It's $40 billion a year, and a quarter of students leave. So we have a $10 billion. It's crazy, right? We have a $10 billion hole. 50 years of research is really clear what it is. The biggest hole is social and emotional well-being, aka students feel lonely, which is an epidemic in society right now, and they don't feel like they have friends and community. So the whole business is oriented around, can we teach student leaders how to get the skills they need to thrive, which is good for them? Can we teach them that the way to do that is activate the campus, run communities, run clubs, host a pancake breakfast? And most students who want to be an actuary or an engineer don't think a pancake breakfast is a good use of their time. But if it gets you talking, communicating, learning how to market, learning how to host an event, doing some data analytics, those are the skills employers want, and it helps the students. And if the students are helping the students, it helps the uni.
Yeah.
So I built a business case around, we can prove through increased retention or decreased attrition, either way, that great student leaders make university better. And everybody wins. The uni wins, the students win, the general population wins, and then the employers win in the future. And that was kind of the insight that started it all.
And it's interesting. Like, I've always thought about it from the perspective of, ultimately, what good looks like in terms of someone coming out of a university degree is getting employed and getting a job, right? And I've always thought about it from the sense of how do we create great pathways from university into employment. But listening and chatting with you, it's really clear that you actually need to kind of go like a step back from that and look more at engagement and some of the skills that you're talking about. So when you think about, those skills and you spoke about some of them, it's like, what are the qualities that makes, a great student leader, and what are some of the things that you're teaching to help, increase engagement at universities, but ultimately to help and have kind of better outcomes, be more happy, and all the things you're kind of talking about?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think university, to use some words from Scott Galloway, who's going viral over the internet, because his TED Talk came out last week, he's just broken the internet. He said university isn't about turning the top 10% into billionaires. It's about giving the bottom 90% a chance to become the top 10%.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of students, whether it's broken English, whether it's lower grades, whether it's personal struggles, mental health, whatever it is, university is this beautiful space, and all the research is crystal clear that net going to uni improves your outcomes in life, your health in life, your earning potential. You've got to be smart enough to say it's not just this.
Yeah.
It's like anyone, you might have a mate.
It's not a linear journey in that sense.
Exactly. And it's not the only thing. It's like when you have that mate who gets a new girlfriend or boyfriend or partner or whatever, and they make that person their whole world, and you go, you're falling into the trap. They're amazing. They're beautiful. They deserve your love, attention, and affection. But you can't make them the sole source of love in your life. The friend who ditches all their friends because they fall in love with a girl or a boy, that relationship either cracks and they come back, or they figure it out and they come back.
It's all the things around that make the relationship great, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I love the analogy.
If you invest, you don't put all your money in one stock, because you'd never over-index.
Yeah.
And I think when we come to our learning in life, which if life is about learning, I think you could argue, we can't just make uni that. It's not fair for a student to look at university and say it's the only thing. It's one thing. The word university. Uni means one.
Yeah.
It can mean all or it can mean singular. And I think the trap is people have thought of it as it's everything.
Yeah.
And sometimes our marketing suggests that. Come here, we'll give you everything you need.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you won't. You give us an opportunity to access everything we need.
You've done a really awesome job kind of building your presence on LinkedIn, and I think you're someone who tells great stories, and looking at your profile creates values for the people who are following you. Can you talk a little bit about how you've gone about creating your personal brand within the education sector, and anything you've learned along the way that would be useful for other educational professionals looking to kind of build their profile?
100%. So one of the things, if anyone's listening to this, if they're interested, if you look me up on LinkedIn, Josh Farr, Farr, send me a message, let me know you listen to the podcast. I'll send you, one of the things we built out is like an online course, which is a couple $100, but it's LinkedIn. It's basically everything I know about LinkedIn step by step in 3 steps.
Cool.
I'll send it out for free for anyone who sends me a message. So that way I can give you a little bit more value and you can work your way through it. When I teach LinkedIn, I teach it in 5 steps. So quickly, optimize your profile. And then the other 4, just drive attention to your profile. Connect, engage, create, and follow up. So optimize is, look at your profile and think about, one, like the job description. Do I have the skills there that I really want? But even more importantly than that, what are the words you want people to associate with you? So like branding, from the idea of like branding something, is leaving an impression. So the 2 words I want people to think of when they think of me are basically leadership and workshops. Leadership's my domain, workshops what I do. And so it might be higher education and marketing, whatever it is. So if you go to my LinkedIn profile and you do Control F leadership, you'll get 110 hits. It's what's in my title, it's what's in my bio, it's what I post about, it's what I talk about, it's what I'm interested in. So once I've got that profile set up, I'm connecting with the people who I think would be interested in what I do, and which is great because I can add value. Then I'm engaging with them, public and private. Public engagement is in the comment section, private's in the DMs. So like really practically, then I'll create content, say what I do, and the follow-up. This is the thing I think that people miss the most. Where LinkedIn's special is, you're not asking someone to be your friend like on Facebook, and it's not a romantic match like Tinder. You're asking them to connect professionally. It's so vague. It's like, what does that mean?
It's a pretty mellow ask.
It's a pretty mellow ask, So when I put out content, one of the things that the LinkedIn platforms lets you do, I put out a piece of content. If you click on all the people that like your post, you can connect with them, message them, respond. So I go through all the people that like all of my posts. Sometimes when I'm busy, I don't do this. When the numbers are bigger, it's harder. But I go through all the people that like my posts, and they fit into 3 camps. 1, they're kind of irrelevant. They just have found me somewhere on the internet, and I'm like, all right, no worries. They're a student, and they've liked my post, which means like, cool, you've got value. I'm going to promote just stay engaged. Or the 3rd is their staff. So if they're liking and engaging with my posts, I'll send them a message and go, hey, Sally, thanks so much for liking my post about LinkedIn. Just wondering what's happening at insert university with you and your team and your leaders.
I definitely don't do that, and I'm definitely going to start doing that.
And it's so interesting. What's cool too is it's amazing how often, I call it the universe giving you a cookie. It's like, it's amazing how often you get a little cookie where someone goes, it's amazing. We were just thinking about you. And of course you were, because you're subconscious. You saw my post, of course, we're just thinking about you. Yeah, we don't have anything booked for semester 2. And that's like, I don't know if this is how you're meant to do business, but I've got a Calendly link. I'm like, do you want to book a time to chat next week?
Perfect.
And then they're like, yeah. And then so it's sort of like content, the follow-up, I just sort of do that like hand-to-hand engagement.
And it's not cold, right? Because I've seen the content as well. That's the difference.
We're already connected. Yeah. Exactly. And
and I think so much of it is forming the habit as well. So obviously you're super consistent with it. We were chatting earlier. You said you've pretty much been doing it almost daily since 2016. It's kind of starting is obviously the hardest part. And then it's kind of just maintaining it. And hey, it doesn't need to be every day for everyone, but it's like figure out what, the cadence looks like that is achievable and start there. And then obviously you can ratchet it up as you get more comfortable and as you start to better understand, what's relevant to the audience you're talking to, and you kind of just get more clarity around your message and how you're creating value for the people who follow you.
Yeah. And if I could give a challenge to the audience, here's a really easy way to do this in 10 minutes or less. For the next month, email out your team, your staff, whoever, just 5 buddies at work who you think are down for this, and go, let's have a competition who can get the most viral LinkedIn post. And then it doesn't matter if you're the only one who does it, let's just post for a month. At the end of the month, add up all the posts, add up all the reach, so make a little Google sheet, and figure out what your average reach is on the post. Just try to gamify it a bit. Give someone a prize or a gift voucher. And let's say the average reach is 400, let's make the math easy. Let's just say 1,000 people see your post on average. If each post gets 1,000 views, and you've got 72 employees. If they post daily, that's 72,000 views. If they post Monday to Friday, that's 350,000 views. If you do that for 50 weeks, that's 15 million views. So you could have 15 million free organic views per year bonus, just sharing the cool stuff you're doing. Just, here's what we're doing in the cafe. Here's what we do, blah, blah, blah. In 5 minutes or less per day. People go, what do I post? So I made a little checklist, 5 different things that you can post. Monday, piece of news. You're in marketing. Google marketing news, grab an article, share it. Don't have to do anything. Tuesday, take a selfie. So today we could pull out a phone, take a selfie. We're doing a podcast today. Done. Wednesday, thank somebody. Use a little LinkedIn kudos function. And by the way, thank a client, thank a stakeholder, thank a supplier. Go Rode. We're using Rode microphones today. Hey, we're in the podcast today. We use Rode microphone. Big shout out to Rode. You know, this isn't a sponsored post. You know what I mean? Like Thursday, I always do a throwback. And this is a fun one. And especially when you've done this for a few years, I find posts that I did last year. And
just repost
them. I literally repost them. And what I do is I copy and paste it. And then halfway down through the post, so it looks like new content. Halfway down through the post, I go 1 year later. I tag everybody else again because I've already tagged them, and I go, "What have you achieved in the last year?" So all my comments,
I love that.
All my comments are testimonials. They're 12-month later testimonials. It's a layup. It's awesome. If you don't have that, go to your Facebook memories, grab a photo or whatever it is, you know. And then Friday, I just share a resource. Here's what I'm listening to. Here's a podcast I'm listening to, the Scott Galloway TED Talk. Today in the airport's probably the thing I'm going to post because I've listened to it like 3 times and he's just spewing venom on the TED stage and I love it.
And that's what makes it daunting as well. Because I think most people are like, I don't want to sit there and talk about myself in front of everyone else. But it's like, that's kind of the key, right? It's not, it doesn't need to be about you. It
doesn't need to be about you at all.
And I love just the simplicity of that, and then that overlaid with consistency and just turning up and doing it, you know, again, as I said, whether it's every day, twice a week, whatever works for you, but it's like just being consistent, because it's like if you can increase the at-bats with the LinkedIn stuff, it's like that's kind of when it's like you're going to really maximize the value.
But it's sharing things with people who want to hear it. And if you want to hear that message, if you've got a message to share, I say, why not share it?
Yeah, totally. Well, Josh, it's been absolutely fantastic having a conversation with you today. As I said, love the clarity of the mission and the purpose. You guys are doing amazing work, you know, really helping students and kind of making a difference. So it's been great to hear and love the practical. Definitely going to steal a whole bunch of tips from you on the little last segment on LinkedIn. So thanks so much for coming in. And where can people find you? You mentioned your LinkedIn handle. Where else can kind of people find you if they want to reach out?
Yeah, LinkedIn's a good one if you just want to see the personal branding stuff. Sometimes that gets mixed up of like, wait, what does this guy do? Is he an inspirational speaker or something? So go to campusconsultancy.org. You'll see a whole bunch of case studies of different ways we've helped clients and really boost retention and get results. So campusconsultancy.org or Josh Farr on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.
Thank you.